Men are retreating into minimalism and video games. And I want to just talk about this topic because I think that it's extremely important to really comprehend the serious implications of this, where over 30 million men have stopped working, dropped out of the workforce, and are now basically focusing on walking away or going their own way. Watch to the end of the video to fully understand the implications of men retreating from society and going into minimalism. Why are men retreating from society, and why are they going so deeply into minimalism and video games, and how is that going to affect society going forward? We'll break all of that down. And don't forget to follow us over on Rumble. Most of our content is now coming out exclusively on Rumble, so go and follow us over there. And also, if you want to learn about crypto, guys, because hard times are here, you can learn how to make a full time living in crypto with courses and guides by visiting Angry's Crypto Academy, which is linked in the description below. So, guys, men are now dropping out of society even faster than they were before. They are choosing hands down to just say, hey, you know what? Society has nothing to offer me, so I have nothing to offer society. And they're taking a step back. And I've talked about this. I actually made a poll about it recently that, we were going to see minimalism was going to become a major trend in the manosphere in the coming years. Now, a lot of people don't really understand the concept of minimalism. They don't understand what minimalism is, how minimalism actually works. I think to be a minimalist, it means to own nothing. This is absolute nonsense. There are different kinds of minimalist. There are different kinds of minimalism. There's a lot of minimalists who own significant amounts of property. They own lots of things, and you're like, wait a minute, how the hell is this a minimalist? But then you understand that minimalism is just intentional ownership. And that means different things for different guys. You have the guys who sleep on the floor, the guys who sleep on the floor, and these guys are, shout out to the floor gang. They basically don't really need much to survive. They're more than happy to sleep on the equivalent of a mat or nothing at all, and give them a little bit of entertainment. Could be a laptop, could be a Nintendo Switch, could be a cell phone. For some of them, they don't even want any of those things. There's still men who live today without even a cell phone, without a smartphone, and they're happy as pigs in mud. This is Men don't need much to survive. The average man can live happily in a shoebox at the side of the road. The average woman cannot. And as we continue to go further, and with a society that does not like us, we're going to continue seeing more men adapt this stance where they're going to look critically at cutting down on their cost of living, cutting down on the things that they don't need, and instead focusing on just the things that are important to them. This doesn't mean that you won't own anything, but it does mean that you'll have a lot of guys that you go into their homes, they don't even have a sofa. They don't have a sofa. They may not even have a bed. And I'm not saying this, that's towards the extreme end, although there's a lot of men who could live like that, and it's not even that extreme for the average man. But you go into their homes and you discover they don't own a lot, and it's because of the choice, the way that they choose to live. Or sure, they have a bed, they may have a desk, they have a computer on it or a laptop on it, but you have to understand they only have the very bare things that they actually need. There are no posters on the walls, there's nothing whatsoever. It's just very bare bone stuff. And for a lot of men, that's how they're going to choose to live. They're going to dress very modestly, very simple, basically the art of dressing poor, where you don't dress so poor that you draw attention to yourself, but you basically don't look like someone that has a lot of money. And for a lot of guys, that might be a pair of sneakers, you know, some fitted jeans, and a clean shirt, and that's pretty much it, you know and you're good to go. And a lot of guys will live like that. A lot of guys currently live like that, and it's a very intriguing thing, and that's really where we are headed, because especially as the state starts trying to come after men. For example, they're like, oh, we want to take away what's his name, Mike Johnson. The guy's a punk. Rhino, name a Republican in name only. He's saying that Medicaid is for single moms. It's not for men who are not working, and he wants to put a work requirement for Medicaid. and they've been actively targeting men. So it's like you're trying to target men. All you're going to do is push men further out of society. Men pay 80% of all taxes. Women make 80% of all consumer purchases. And men are not wanted in society. Men are continually attacked in society. You have to live up to be a man. You have to live up to the standards and ideals of others. To be a woman, you simply have to identify as one. And that's basically the big difference here. That's why so many men are done with this. They're done with society, they're done with the BS, and they're instead choosing to focus on themselves, their own happiness, their relationship with God, and walk away or go their own way. And there's not much anyone can actually do about it. You can see that the state is panicking right now. That's why they want to, surveil what men are doing. Every video you watch on YouTube, every video game that you play, and the more that they do this, the more men will just create new spaces. The more men will just, focus on emulating games or playing retro games, and basically disappearing even further from society. And as a man, because we don't need much to survive, by being very intentional with your spending, you can basically live well, eat well, sleep well, poop well, and you don't have much to worry about. No wife, no kids. A lot of y'all don't need jobs. And it sounds crazy to some guys when I say a lot of men don't need to work, but it's absolutely true. A lot of men do not need to work, because when you don't have a wife, when you don't have kids, depending on where you live, and your living situation, some guys, they have a roof over their heads, they have a trailer that they may own, they may have purchased a trailer or a house or something along the lines, or they live with family, or they live in a place where the rent is very, very low. There's still places in the US where you can basically rent something, not a lot of them, but there's some places, quite a few places where you could still rent something for $500 a month. And, for a lot of guys, $500 a month, that's $6,000 a year. You can make that doing DoorDash. You can make that easily doing, day trading crypto. You can make that, or better yet, you can file for unemployment, right? And for a lot of guys, it's not hard to get unemployment, because many of us have all of these health issues, like we have, like, degenerative spines and all kinds of stuff, because we worked so many years and we neglected our health so much. We weren't doing preventative care, any of that stuff, that now we have health issues, and usually men just work through these things until they pass away. But now we're like, yeah, we're not going to work through it. We're just going to go and apply for Social Security disability, or SSI, which is basically, if you're like low income, if you don't really have any money, you can apply for SSI. A lot of people do qualify for it. A lot of men will qualify for it. To my understanding, SSI is like $800 a month. But if you think about this very carefully, if you're a man, and you can still make some money while you receive SSI, I believe. So you can still have like small amounts of money coming in. As a man, if you're getting $800 a month, and you're able to also secure food stamps. Food stamps are like, I think food stamps are like around, like, just below $300 a month right now. So think about this. You're getting SSI, which is 800, which is about $800 a month. You're collecting food stamps, which is almost $300 a month. You have no wife, you have no kids, none of these things, right? Let's say your rent is only $500 a month, right? Your SSI completely covers your rent. Let's say your utilities are only around, let's say, $100 to $200 a month, right? So basically, your SSI, right, that $800 a month covers your rent, covers your utilities, and you're also getting food stamps. Okay, you're doing the math with me now. So and basically, you're just living on, as a normal man. You're only buying meat and potatoes, basically. So you figure out, you have all the time in the world. So you learn how to shop. You go to Costco or wherever. You buy large amounts of meat. You buy water, and that's basically it. You buy beer, and you buy a freezer. So you stock full and then on top of that, as men, we're different from women. We will go to the butchers. We'll drive miles and miles, and we'll go to these men who do their hunting, and we'll buy meat off. We'll buy fresh deer and bison, amazing, incredible meat, and we'll have all of this amazing meat stacked away, and eventually we have no bills. We have no bills. Okay, no real bills, because the rent is taken care of. And everything that we own, these are one-time purchases, right? And that's, again, that's one of the reasons you need to get into crypto, so that you can escape the rat race and instead focus on yourself and live a comfortable and happy life. While everyone is struggling to survive, you'll be able to thrive. And actually, we have a great discount happening right now over in the Academy, Angry's Crypto Academy, where you can become a premium member and gain all of the access and benefits, and also one-on-one coaching so that you can get all of the support you need.
Ask you something. When the banks collapse, and trust me, it's coming, will you be ready? Imagine waking up to ATMs that don't work, bank doors chained shut, and millions of people left with nothing. No cash, no access to their savings, and no way to survive. But it doesn't have to be that way for you. That's why I created Angry's Crypto Academy, to teach you everything you need to know about crypto so you can protect yourself and your family. You'll learn how to buy, sell, and even day trade crypto for a living. Plus, we alert you to new crypto trends so you can profit before everyone else even knows what's happening. Right now, I've just published an exclusive investment guide inside the Academy, and it's linked in the description below. In it, I reveal the one coin that could make you a millionaire. A coin so revolutionary, it could change everything. If you missed out on Bitcoin and Ethereum, this is your second chance. This isn't just about financial freedom, it's about survival. When the system collapses and everyone else is selling, you'll be the one buying, prepared to weather the storm and thrive while others struggle to survive. Don't wait. This knowledge isn't optional, it's critical. The link's in the description. Go check it out now.
An idea that I actually saw, like, I was actually like, there's a channel called Dating Right. Some of you guys know Dating Right. And I saw a meme on there. It's not even really a meme. Well, it kind of is, but it basically shows like a bunch of different celebrities. It's actually kind of interesting. And, they have like Rachel Zegler, Rihanna, a bunch of others. And it shows them with and without makeup. And they just look like two very different people. Two different people. And it basically captioned like, put a 10,000% tariff on makeup and women will pay for it. And the honest to goodness truth is, it's a genius concept. Because think about this very carefully. Women make 80% of all consumer purchases, men pay 80% of all taxes. So if you put a 10,000% tariff on makeup, makeup is basically, it says basically, like, when you do the comparison between women with and without makeup, it's like, this is the reason why it's considered witchcraft, right? Because it changes the look of the person so much. And women are going to pay for it. Even if you put a 10,000% tariff on makeup, women are going to pay for it. And that's a genius idea. We should definitely put something like a 10,000% tariff on beauty care products. It makes 100%. And of course, women would scream and holler and complain about it, and say whatever the hell they want. But think about this very carefully. These are the same people that were saying that menstrual products should be a human right, and they would come out and try to act like beauty products should be a human right. It's like, bro, no, they shouldn't be. No, they shouldn't be. In fact, what Trump could do is he could even do something like, okay, ladies, here's what we're gonna do. We're going to remove all taxes on menstrual products, because you guys absolutely need them. We're going to sign all of these bills, and instead we're going to put all of these taxes instead on beauty care products, because you don't need those kinds of things. We're not going to put taxes on things like soap and stuff like that, but for like premium body care products, yeah, there's going to be a 10,000% tax. Like, for example, you're not going to pay $10,000 on Dove soap, okay? And you're not going to pay a 10,000% tariff on Dove soap, okay? But you're gonna pay a 10,000% tariff on your makeup, okay? You're gonna pay a 10,000% tariff on your eyeliner. You're gonna like these are things that you don't need to survive. Are you kidding me? I need this for my skin and blah 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 blah. No no no. So we can work with you like healthcare products. Like if it's like healthcare products. Stuff to exfoliate stuff like that. No, we won't put it. We won't tariff that. You know, but for your eyeliner, for your makeup, for the powders and all that stuff, yeah, all of that stuff, weaves and extensions. Yeah, we're gonna put a 10,000% tariff on that, and that's real. That's that's one of the best ways to deal with this because we would bring in billions and billions of additional tax revenue if we went down that path. I mean, it's kind of ridiculous how much money is spent for these products, and I think, like, women need to start paying their fair share, but yeah, it's gonna get harder for women as it gets easier for men. That's what I think, 'cause life is already horrible for men, and we're already being punished for every single thing. So, trying using shame to control men and force men back to the plantation, it's a bad idea. It's like you have no other tools in your arsenal, shame, blame, punishing. Like guys, it's all we've been getting the stick. We've been getting the stick, like no carrot, all stick for decades now. It's just been all stick, all stick, all stick, all stick. Eventually, the men run away and your tools are useless. You have no all you know how to do is is come after us using shame and gaslighting and everything else. You have no other tools in your arsenal. There's nothing else you can do. Responsibility. Oh, it's your responsibility. You need to take accountability. They have nothing. They have nothing. Basically, men are well accustomed to being punished. All the state knows how to do is how to punish men, how to use punishment and blame to get to try to force men to do things. Okay? Basically, it's a form of SLAVERY. But here's the thing: when you have an SLAVE, you need to feed them, house them, and take care of them, and all of these other things. Men were basically subsidizing the state in exchange for the promise that you would have access to all of these opportunities as a man, and you'd be able to have a wife, kids, a nice house, the two-car garage, the stupid little dog, you know, and for a while, we got that. And then it was all taken away, but we were still left with the responsibilities. Okay. While we have no authority. So our authority in society was stripped away from us. We were punished and demonized for simply being men. Women were given special privileges while we were given special punishments. So now you have a system where men have special responsibilities, which amount to special punishments, while women have special privileges, or special rights, which amounts to special privileges. All right. So when you have a system like that, it's clear that women now operate as agents of the state, while men are basically prisoners of the state. Okay, and what's the equivalent? The equivalent of a prisoner is an SLAVE. Because if you have responsibilities without authority, you are an SLAVE. It's a very very sad thing when you consider it, but it's the reality. And now you're seeing videos from women who are like, "Ladies, you need to stop. Men and women are equal, but we cannot do everything that men can do." In other words, feminism got us everything that we wanted. Now let's fight. Now let's fight it together. Feminism got us everything that we wanted. Now let's fight for one another. I told you guys it was coming. I told you it was coming. You'll ask guys, do you notice that no one really goes around asking women, are they feminist anymore? Okay. You're gonna have a lot of women who don't want to discuss it or going to try. Like I had a woman get almost VIOLENT on me a minute ago when we were talking about feminism, and she was like, "Don't blame me for it. I did it in college, and I stopped and blah blah blah." It's like, okay, dude, take a chill, and this was years ago, but that's really where it's gonna go. It's like, bro, you're a feminist. Stop playing games. You're still talking about equality. You were a radical feminist, but now life is hard, and you don't want to even talk about it anymore. You want to act like, oh, we can't talk about it. We can't ask questions because now they want to find a man. Now they want someone to take care of them. They want to find a sim to subsidize them after they have body counts higher than the Doomslayer. They dropped more bodies in the Doomslayer, and and now they're out here in the streets, basically trying to find someone to save them from the streets, from the woods, because they said, we would rather the bear, but now they don't want to go hang out with Yogi and Boo Boo. It's so funny, ironically, because the gameplay video we have on right now, it shows a bear. It shows this dude fighting a bear, and now women don't want to go and deal with the bear. Even though they made that choice, they said they would rather the bear, but now they don't want to go live with the bear. Where this is really heading for women is basically women finding themselves in extraordinary states of poverty, destitution, and men retreating further and further into minimalism, which takes away more wealth and resources from the state, providing less tax revenue. And of course, if the state cannot get that tax revenue from men, right? If they can't get it from men, then where are they going to have to get it from? They're going to have to get it from women. If the state cannot subsidize, if the state cannot make up for tax revenue for men have disappeared from society, they have to make it up from women. And how are they going to make it? Because women make 80% of consumer purchases. So the state is going to have to increase the amounts of money that they charge for consumer products, specifically consumer products that women purchase. You can only put, you can only tariff, you know, electronics just so much before it starts to hurt the economy significantly and hurt the private sector. Okay. And as I've said this already, when it comes to our technology, most guys are happy with a cheap phone. Like my phone right now, like I have a Nord N30. I have a couple of different phones. I got three different phones. I've got an iPhone. I think this is a 12, a 13, or maybe a 13. I think it's a 13. I've got an iPhone 13. I use this phone for business. I use this phone primarily for business. If I have to talk to someone related to YouTube or whatever, well, whatever. I have this phone, and I use that phone for business. I have another phone that I don't even doesn't really cost me anything, so I just have it around private phone, and then I have my normal phone. I've got three different phones. It doesn't really cost me anything because of Mint Mobile. But it's like, you know, my Nord N30, this phone costs $300. You can get them as like low as like $230 now, brand new, or maybe even like under $200 used. And I've had this phone for about 2 years now, I think. I'll say almost 2 years. I've had this phone for about 2 years now, and I just don't have any intention I've thought about it before, and I'm like, the only thing is I wish that it was a little speedier in some ways, like something, but it's still fast enough. And that's how it is for mine. It's a great phone. It still works just as well. It still works mostly as good as the day when I first got it. I'm able, and I can, because I'm such a tech person, I'm able to like do things like increase like the amount of memory available for memory. You can have like virtual memory, so you can set aside a portion of the storage to use as virtual memory. And so it allows it to basically have almost the equivalent of 16 gigabytes of RAM. And it's like, I don't need, like, you just, as men, we don't need much more. Like a cell phone is a one-time purchase for us. We're not going on dates, we're not having children, so if we have to spend, if a cell phone ends up costing $1,000, right? And again, most phones aren't going to cost $1,000. You'll still be able to find, even with the tariffs, you'll still be able to find a mid-range phone like this. You'll still be able to find a mid-range phone like this affordably. So instead of it being $300, let's say it's 500 or 600. Most men don't care. They'll buy the phone or buy it secondhand. It's a one-time purchase, and that's it. You know, like my MacBook Pro. It's a one-time purchase. I wish I had spent a bit more on it. I have the Pro model. I wish I had gone with the Max. I have the Pro chip. I wish I had gone with the Max because that would have allowed for a bit more longevity. But it's a one-time purchase. I've got my gaming laptop, which is absolutely amazing. I basically transitioned away from my Mac. I transitioned away from Windows back to Mac. You know, I went from PC to Mac, then back to PC, and then back to Mac, and then I'm like, I'm never going back to PC. And then I was like, I want to play video games, and then I went back from Mac to PC, and and now I'm back on PC, and I've been able to mostly make my PC experience very much like Mac, and because of like, and I'm able to kind of tweak and do all kinds of stuff, so it lets me like play my games and also do video editing. I have a much more powerful processor, powerful GPU on this. I have a 4070 GPU on my um on my G16, my Strix G16, which is actually funny because originally I wanted to get I did have a Zephyrus, but it had some serious problems when I purchased it, and I had to return it. And then like there was like one of you guys, if you maybe you're listening, who was like, dude, do not get a Zephyrus, get a Strix." And I was like, I don't want the Strix, I want the Zephyrus. But in the end, I ended up doing my research and I ended up getting the Strix, and it was the best decision I could have ever made because it allowed me to upgrade the RAM. Right now, I have 96 freaking gigabytes, 96 gigabytes of RAM, internal RAM on my. Of course, it's internal. 96 gigabytes of RAM on my laptop, and the thing is, like I can open up Task Manager. Yeah, I can open up Task Manager at pretty much any given moment. And right now, it's like I've got 96 gigabytes, and it's using the memory usage is about it's roughly 26%. 26 26%. That's insane. 26, and it goes as high as 33, and all I'm doing right now is recording a video for you. So I'm thinking to myself, I'm using more than 26 gigabytes of memory. My system is using more than 25 guys, more than 25 gigabytes of memory. We're constantly told. Think about how insane this is. We're constantly told that you don't need more than, for gaming, you only need around 16 gigabytes. You don't really need more than 32 gigabytes. And here I am with 96 gigabytes of RAM. 96 gigabytes, and my laptop, when it's barely doing anything, nope, not playing any games. Right now, is using roughly 26 gigabytes, and it sometimes goes up to 33, just doing nothing, just surfing the internet. That's a lot of memory. That's a ton of memory, and that obviously translates to performance. My laptop's crazy fast because of all the optimizations I've done to it. Crazy, it's crazy fast, crazy fast. You know, but because and it's like because of the lifestyle I live, I can afford nice things. I've got premium headphones. I've got I've got, Beat Studio headphones. I think they're pro, like Beat Studio Pro, something like that. I've got XM4s. Those are Sony headphones. I got them for like $200 during like a Black Friday sale. I don't know if it was a Black Friday sale. So it was one during one of those sales. You know, I've got those. I also have another pair of Beat. I've got these other pair of Beats, really small, some nice ones, small ones. But I've got all kinds of toys, and that's because I don't have kids. That's because I do not have kids. No kids. I've over 70. Like that's guys. Like we could never have imagined things. Like I mean, like I have over 70 Nintendo Switch games, all brand new, and that's a very small collection right now. That's a pretty small collection that I have compared to, let's say, the average, like some guys who have hundreds of games. You'll go into you'll see their rooms and YouTube videos, and they have hundreds of games. My guy, what's his name? I cannot remember this guy. I always say Tim, but he's not Tim. I have a guy who actually helps with some of the editing on the videos now. Yeah, I have a guy who's been actually helping with some of the videos. Like he's done like 2 edits so far. So he's been helping me with some of the edits on not all of the videos, but just like a few. And he has like a channel where he talks about games too. I really want him to make more content. And look, and like he has like over 100 Nintendo Switch games. I think he has like PlayStation games. And it's like these people have like large collections, and I think he's one of the smaller collectors too. Still, I think, but he makes money selling games on eBay. I think like he's like he does reselling. So I don't know why people are getting it pissed off with the resellers. I love resellers. Let me tell you something about video game resellers. I love video game resellers. I want to get into it myself, But I think video game resellers provide a lot of value because, like, for example, I wanted to pick up Persona. I wanted to pick up a physical brand new copy of Persona 4, right? For Nintendo Switch. And I think I spent like $100 for it. And there are people who get pissed off, like, how dare you? Like, resellers are no scalpers are cancer. Scalpers are cancer. But when you have a game like Persona 4, like the physical version, I don't know if it was 10 years ago when it came out. It's a game. Persona 4 is a game that came out on PlayStation 2 like 20 years ago. I don't know. I think it's actually like 20 years ago. A very, very long time ago. Probably like or almost 20 years ago, you know? And then it came out on Nintendo Switch like maybe 7 to 10 years ago, I'm thinking, maybe the physical version. So, when I'm able to pick up a brand new copy of a game that came out 10 years ago or almost 10 years ago, brand new, sealed from a reseller, I find that very valuable. I am grateful for that. How much did the reseller pick it up for? Maybe they got it for 20 bucks. Maybe they got it for 30 bucks. They got it on discount. Okay. And they held on to it like maybe 10 years, not 10 years or 5 years or whatever. And now, because of them, I'm able to have access to this game many years later, brand new. Now, is it hard sometimes? Because, like, is it hard sometimes because it becomes more difficult to find these games, and like it becomes more expensive? Yeah. But here's the other option. You don't have access to them at all. Like, people who complain about video game resellers are insane. If these video game resellers are artificially raising, if they're artificially forcing the prices up, the prices go based on supply and demand. If no one is buying your game, if no one is buying your game, then it's going to then the value is going to fall. So you have to be smart about how you purchase, about how much you spend on these games, and then selling them back. But it's about supply and demand. And if like let's say that let's say maybe a few, like, 5 years from now, had I not gotten the game, 10 years from now, had I not gotten the game for $100, and it was selling for like $200, and I wanted the game physical, and there's a reseller out there who still had the game brand new, and the game came out 15 or 20 years ago, and I can still purchase the game now for $200 or $300, but it's sealed. That's none of your business if I want to spend $200 or $300 on that physical game. I'm grateful that it still exists so I can go and purchase it for that. If you don't like it, don't buy it. Think about the logistics here. This is a game that would not even be available if it wasn't for the resellers. There's a lot of these scumbag dudes out there who are like, you should be doing it you should be doing it because you care about people, not because you're trying to make money. Scalpers are scumbags because they basically artificially inflate the price of products. They go out, they buy up things, and they're basically making it hard for anyone to actually own anything. Resellers are different. Resellers who are not scalping, they're basically providing a service. That's what they're doing. They're providing a service. You know, so that it's like, because if they didn't do this, where were you going to be able to buy it anyway? Just being honest. But yeah, guys, men are retreating into minimalism and video games, and women have a very hard future ahead of them. Let me know your thoughts. We'll talk about it in the comments. Like the video if you like it. Don't forget to subscribe. And if you like the video, share the video. And just remember that all roads lead to MWA. Men walking away, and cheers.
Nothing says you care like crypto. Nothing can compare. Nothing says you care like crypto. Oh, nothing can compare to crypto.